Hello everyone, this is ETH Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of Fire Emblem Heroes. So as you can see here, we're a bit shy of tier 38, but I think we'll understand a bit why as we get into the replays for this week, because there's quite a few. Apparently we just keep getting more replays. I checked like 5 minutes. I keep checking like every 5 minutes and somehow we keep getting more replays. Kappa. It's not that many, but it is a lot more than usual, we'll say that. So we have a maxed out Altina here, super tanky, solid attack stat, and they're just getting set up here. But this week was at least a more reasonable representation of how my defense should do. So they decide to hit end turn here. Elwood chunking a bit into Altina. Of course, there's flame support for damage reduction. Duma chunking in a bit of damage here. Of course, Altina's res is pretty decent, so she's going to do alright there, but kind of confused why they didn't activate their Harmonize skill. Maybe they were trying to flex. And so far, they're able to tank everything here. But naturally, AI things, and now Legendary Crom can proc Deadeye and completely obliterate because Flame cannot do anything to help Altina there for damage reduction. And so Ripperonis. Yeah, kind of confused why they didn't activate their Harmonize skill there. But moving on. A very common theme seems to be a lot of people have Bride Fjorm against my team, but I also get matched up against a bunch of people plus 10 units and whatnot. But you don't need plus 10 units to beat this defense. It's a really bad layout. And it's still baffling how things can go terribly wrong if you don't prep correctly. But they're just healing up their units here, because why the heck not? They're just waiting for Bolt Tower, presumably, here. They have the Isolation up. Pick up the kill on Shamir. Alright. Decided to go player phase into Elwood, interesting. Well, it's kind of obvious that that heavy trap should be real, because why would the other one be real? But, I mean, whatever. Okay, they pick up the kill on Olivia barely, but in one shot, of course. They were doubling. Here, Lynn's going to be able to barely kill, again, because they're even running New Moon here, not even Moonbow. So... But Roy here is not keen to tanking the meme Duma himself, so he's just going to obliterate him in one shot. And of course the thing is the heavy trap kinda hit Elwood, but Mirablis gets an absolutely rigged one shot on Duel. I have no idea how that straight up works because she has like no attack. So that Lyn basically had no defense whatsoever, but Elwood got hit by the heavy trap, so we couldn't initiate into anyone. But they took more losses than they probably should have, and so that's a Ripperonis. But yeah, this week on offense, we did okay. There was that one match that we had on video where we just absolutely got rolled. There's definitely were ways to not lose 4 units in that match against the Dual Lift Sarah Felix team Majig. It was definitely preventable for sure, to say the least. Here, Elwood's going to initiate to Hector, but Hector's unable to kill, and you know what that means? Wings of Mercy, wee. So, Crom, yep, takes his chance, and with Deadeye, ignores all damage reduction. Ripperonis there. And Shamir, actually, thanks to no follow-up, she's able to one-round KO Brave Hector, and she actually didn't even need her special there, but it definitely helped out to secure the kill. And Altina is below 80% HP, I believe, so she's able to counterattack Shamir. Ripperonis. At this point, they can take out Crom with Regan because senior shell stonks. But pretty standard shenanigans for Regan. Regan bonus was definitely useful this week. The extra HP helps so much for tanking some particular matchups, but this season was super flip-flopped in terms of how things went. I got harder matches at the beginning of the season and got easier matches towards the end of the season, even though I was at a higher tier. And so logically you might think, you know, you should get more difficult matches later on in the season, but I guess not. We got pretty solid challenges for our day one matches and stuff. It was quite interesting. Here Doom has got Draconic Aura. I keep forgetting to switch it to Glimmer because Draconic Aura does nothing really. But Regan's got her damage reduction, so she's going to be able to survive there. Decides to try and attack Mirabilis here, but the heavy trap is real and they end up surrendering here. Yeah, we gotta go through these replays really fast because there's actually quite a few of them. I have no idea what the matchmaker did this time around, but apparently we just got lots of stuff. They just have to hit end turn here with Hannah because they have their bonus to do, or however you pronounce his name. But Elwood is here and does quite a bit of damage because there is attack tactic on Mirabilis and stuff. Shamir is not by herself, unfortunately, so Survivalist Bow is not doing anything. Basically, her entire skill set's doing nothing. Not particularly great there. If you're careful about it, you can beat this team with Vantage and have Shamir just be adjacent to a unit, so she just never gets to do anything with Survivalist Bow and basically her entire kit, which relies on her to be not adjacent to allies. But here they're barely able to pick up the kill on Duma with Regan. But theoretically, of course, they could have put Regan in range of Healing Tower and did things differently, so she would be able to double through Fell Breath, because the fun thing about Duma is Fell Breath, basically. But unfortunately for this Hannah here, Crom has to change Fate and Deadeye up, so he's able to pick up the kill on Hannah, who actually also barely kills on the counter, 30 times 2. But of course, Lin is able to pick up the kill here in 2 shots. Moonbow definitely helping out, and of course this Lin, pretty solid support in general. And of course, when we're not running any duos hindrance or anything, you don't need it to beat my team, but yeah, it's kind of been surprising over the weeks how things have gone. Not entirely sure what they're doing here, having Regan just obliterate Olivia here. I'm pretty sure Olivia wasn't killing Lin. I mean, like, Olivia wasn't doubling. She doesn't have, like, what's it called? Ninja Katana or whatever it is to attack twice with a decent attack style, whatever. So they could have picked up the other ether structure. Not sure why they didn't. Maybe it was a misstep. But moving on. Oh wait. There we go. Alright, and well, more Bride Fjorms and stuff. Really have to get a lot of HP. I decided to switch out Chill Attack Seal for HP, but as you can see, the problem with Astra Season is because of Regan, and this is a max, like, it's a near max HP Fjorm. It's not quite there, but it's pretty up there. Because they can run full, I don't have Saros, of course, and people have Regan for free. You get that extra free plus 5 HP, which for Bride Fjorm helps a lot. Of course, Duma's Upheaval makes things a bit closer, but they can just go in immediately here. Easy peasy, because of course there's absolutely no Duo's hindrance. And even if I had Duo's hindrance, they can just snipe down the Duo unit theoretically. Because my Duo units are Duo Lin and Duo Byleth, neither of which can can tank 2 shots from a Duo Lin, unless we did some real jank stuff. So yeah, that's just... There's really no point in me running Duo's hindrance for trying to check Duo Lin, because they're just not tanking. I don't have far save or anything to protect against Duo Lin, so yeah. Of course, with the isolation and the terrible placement of the units, you can just isolate column 2 and Chrom can never use the change fate. And if you have high enough HP, Olivia also can't dance. So it's just ripperonis all around. Kind of interesting they're running Blue Flame, but I can see it, especially with adjacency shenanigans. It will outperform Moonbow. It's just a matter of the fact that it's not at 1 cooldown. So the first engagement can't get a Blue Flame off, but I don't know. It probably works out. But yes, lots of replays and lots of recurring themes. Bride Fjorm is definitely one of them. If we want to creep Bride Fjorm's HP, we're definitely gonna just need literally Sarah's for the extra HP straight up. Well, that's really what we need. More HP. Who would have thought? Ether Raids in a nutshell. Just stacking HP. But Duma can help out against lower merged Bride Fjorms, especially because of upheaval, and people don't necessarily have a way to heal HP. It would probably be like in the form of a healer, or like one of the beast dancers like Racin, or one of the Herons I should say, to be slightly more specific. But yeah, pretty standard here. Of course they have Mirabilis isolated and Chrom's never going to do anything jank here. So they're just going to hit end turn. Fallen Leon, because he's got his damage reduction, and of course he's green. That's an important thing here. But Fallen Leon able to one-shot on the counter is quite important there. He still would have lived, of course. But I think if he wasn't at full HP, it definitely would have been... If he was at full HP, it would be suspicious, to say the least. But works out for them there. And, well, nothing too special here, but what was I saying? The Heron's Healing Tower, which the Catapult plus Duma can destroy because a lot of people put structures on column 3 and 4. Speaking of structures, I'm definitely liking the fact that I only have 3 offense structures now compared to 4. A lot of matchups actually do suffer because I don't have Panic Manor anymore, because there's a lot of field buffs going around. Because of odd recovery, Kia staff, restore, all sorts of things. It's definitely common enough to nowadays to the point where Panic Manor is useful for your player phase when they have the field buffs to get panicked. So like for example for Sarah with Kia staff buffing units for plus 6 attack and speed. During my player phase, if Panic Manor goes off, that gets flipped, so they have -6 attack and speed. And so that definitely helps out if I'm trying to double units, which is always a problem in Ether Raid's offense. Like, as much as I run, like, somewhat of a speed Chrom and whatnot, he's still too slow. He gets doubled by stuff. Regan can't double stuff, and she has, like, 70, close to 80 speed sometimes, I think. So it's pretty jank. But believe it or not, we're still not even halfway through our replays, I think, so we gotta go a little quicker. Oh boy. I did not expect to keep getting replays towards the end of the season. I was like, okay, I got a good chunk of replays this week, so I'll have to be a bit quick, but and then I kept getting more replays, so I was like, But they're going to pick up the kill on Shamir here. Shamir's actually done more than I expected her to do. but I guess that should be expected because of Survivalist Bow and her stats, base skin stuff. Definitely helps out against Brave Hector. This team, without her, just straight up probably doesn't have a good day against a good Brave Hector. It's like, again, similar to what happened during Light Season, when people were using Brave Hector against Chrom, like especially that maxed out one with, like, had 70 something defense or whatever. Deadeye only is as good as the damage you do, but here, of course, if Chrom did have Deadeye up, Brunya would have been toast, but he doesn't have it up because Pull Smoke, and Brunya is fast enough to double back because Chrom's pretty slow at base anyways. So at this point it's GG because Mirabilis is not going to be killing anyone. So they have all the time in the world to pick up the ether structures, and very common theme of course you see here is a lot of people bring Dual Lin. She can just be the one from A Hero Rises, doesn't need any merges or anything, it just needs solid execution, and apparently from what we saw in the beginning of the season, it's I guess not trivial enough on execution that you can't do whatever you want against this defense, but for the most part people should be winning against this defense pretty cleanly. You don't need absolutely maxed out units to beat this defense at all, but then in exchange you have to play slightly better. Actually, I think I lied. I don't know. We'll see how many replays there are. I don't actually know how many there are. Yeah, this person also running 3 structures. Of course, people run escape ladder. I haven't even built escape ladder, so I wonder how that goes. But of course, I use Bolt Tower instead. Bolt Tower is just insane when it goes off. It can, of course, be a double-edged weapon if the enemy team has some Wings of Mercy and whatnot. Definitely can be an issue, but of course, we don't have Duelist Hindrance, so naturally you can just bring 1 Harmonized hero and 2 Duo heroes and just have an easy time coasting. You also have 3 Dancers, so naturally it should just be a full sweep. They're just taking their time to get set up. And they don't have Disarm Trap, so they have to be slightly careful, but just solid shenanigans. Of course, they had a contingency plan, of course, for if, if that bolt trap wasn't real, they have other options. They could have used Race into Dance and whatnot, so it wasn't like they had to rely on the bolt trap being real. But, slightly different prep might have been needed. But of course they have Tiki and company. So, and of course Duo Peony, just more actions, more attack. Duo Peony is definitely helpful for Dual Lin, not necessarily because of her duo skill, but because of her weapon. Was it Bond of the Alpha or whatever? Giving +6 attack in cardinal directions for a unit with a brave weapon like Dual Lin, that helps a lot. And Dual Lin doesn't have the world's highest attack stat, so it really scales up for her, especially with the built-in -1 cooldown excel that I keep mentioning. It's very useful being able to proc a special in 1 round, especially something like Moonbell for tankier units. But anyways, moving on. I'm 99% sure this is Japanese, but I don't know what it says. But I feel like I've seen this particular username multiple times, and by multiple I mean dozens. So I feel like it might be a generic name or something, or it could be that somehow I'm fighting the same person over and over. I don't know, but I just thought I would mention that. But yeah, lots of replays this week, but common themes. Here we have Layla plus good ol' Fallen Ike, good ol' Max Out. Running Darting Breath, kind of interesting. I know that I'm pretty sure that's base kit. That's base kit, right? Pretty sure. It's useful for him to get his own special acceleration. Of course, that means he doesn't have guard and whatnot, but you don't necessarily need guard. It's definitely nice to have it. But they're going to take out Shamir with Layla. And of course, Layla is super solid on offense because no counterattack and the swapping shenanigans. You can inflict debuffs on the opponent. You can set up lots of stuff with Layla, which is why if you don't run Disarm Trap on Dual Lin, running Disarm Trap on Layla is also super solid. Very standard stuff. And here Mirabilis is just going to potato into Fallen Ike, because, well, no one can really do any damage to him here. So, at least Elwood survives here, but that's not really saying much. And Duma gets obliterated, especially with the dragon effectiveness. But Chaos Regnell just stacking on a lot of stats, because of course there's also the Panic Manor there. I don't actually know where all the debuffs are coming from, but some of them from Panic Manor, probably Shrines as well. But yeah, you can see if Chrom did have Deadeye up, it would not have ended well for Ike, but it doesn't matter. It's the end of the season, so they can just go ahead and pick up the kill and ignore the ether structures. So another clean win, nothing too mind-blowing there. But there's still more replays. There's a lot of replays this week. I have no idea what the matchmaker did this week, because a lot of these are not... I don't even know if I had a single rematch this week, actually, now that I think about it. I think this is the random matchmaker just straight up flinging matches left and right at me on defense. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do for defense, because the number one thing I have to deal with, of course, is heavy nuking teams, which doesn't have to include Dual Lin. It's just the idea of you bring some dancers, you bring some strong units that can murder stuff, and you go ham on the enemy. You gotta deal with that. Have to deal with isolation from Bride Fiorum, because of course not everyone's matchups on defense are the same, but we've seen across quite a few anime seasons now that we definitely got a lot of people with Bride Fiorums, probably because we rush Clem to some degree. So we tend to get matched up into people who have relatively competent offense teams, which generally means a lot of people will have Bride Fiorm in such an instance. But of course, they've isolated Olivia and Chrom, so nothing funny can happen here. But at this point, I definitely like Deadeye and Chrom. Just the problem is a lot of people this week had Pulse Smokes, so no Deadeye for Chrom. But honestly, Alphonse only doing, what was that, 43 damage there? Kinda underwhelming in my opinion, but that's just me. Was that really only 43 damage? But you can see here, if Chrom had Deadeye, that's barely a kill, but it's still a kill, regardless. And Alphonse actually is unable to kill there. They have Pulse Smoke, of course, so even if Olivia could dance Chrom wouldn't be able to kill, especially since Alphonse is no longer at 100% HP. All that stuff applies. And it's GG at this point. But, yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure what kind of defense I would do. I would probably end up having to do something... If I want to do an intermediate, decent defense, I would probably have to do like a basic cav line, which would lose a lot still. Because the problem with this team... I wonder what's gonna happen. It's kind of interesting though. I have not seen the Cav Claude in a very long time. Very long time. To say the least. And they have quadruple dancers, yeah, so their whole plan is just player phase everything, yeah. It should work out against this team, but they decided to go charge in there with Regan. Interesting. I wonder... I guess they could also... They have Wings of Mercy. I don't actually remember. I wasn't paying attention. Pretty sure they had Wings of Mercy, so it was like a contingency plan of sorts if... I guess... Well, if the Bolt Trap was only 10 damage... I guess they could use Kanto, too. No, they can't use Kanto if that was real. So there's some things there where I'm not sure that this was necessarily the completely sound play, but you don't really need to do much here to win. Seems like Claude is barely picking up one-shots, totally not rigged. But yeah, like I was mentioning, whatchamacallit, like I was mentioning earlier, the cav line thing, I would just lose to end turn at that point because my main, I don't have a lot of resources to make a solid cav line. Takes a lot. It's like a lot of defenses where the lower the investment, there's like it's not really an exponential curve, but it's like if you really invest into some certain defense archetypes, they're super good, but then if you don't, they're really bad. So it's kind of a toss-up. There's not really much I can do during anime season. Another thing I could do, I guess, is some simple restore trap. It still gets people, but of course, I would need much higher investment shenanigans to make it consistent because of course bread form and stuff. So still wouldn't work out too well. Ideally, I would just get to meme and just run a Duma line just for the memes, but we still need some more Dumas. So, oh, this is actually kind of cool. Close counter Lin. That's not too bad on bulk as well. And yeah, I guess you're using Gunter to buff up. That's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, you don't see that too often. I don't know about low attack defense. That makes sense from the perspective of taking less damage and doing more damage. But I feel like you should get some more speed. That's my opinion. And of course they didn't break Panic Manor here. So I imagine the problem is just going to be Deadeye Crom. Yeah, it's just Deadeye Crom here because they didn't deny the special acceleration, so that's just a rip. And Duma gets to go on a little attacking spree, I guess. Actually getting to do something for once. He does have a pretty decent attack stat, but just in general, his main utility is upheaval. His actual attack stat and stuff, against teams like mine, it's definitely threatening. But yeah, we kind of cut it close here. 10 minutes left, and we still got to go through all the results and stuff. But yeah, literally, was there even a single rematch this season? No. So it's just a matchmaker just casually giving me 12 matches. Interesting. But yeah, with that, looks like we'll probably end out top 6k, which is perfectly fine considering we goofballed on offense, we got rolled on defense as expected, and not much to be surprised about there. But yeah, Resonant Battles, we've already seen this from the Resonant Battles video. And Allegiance Battles, we're just chilling. Definitely slipping, but if you look at the top scores, we're not far off from the top. It's just that more people are getting the top scores. So that's why our rank is dropping. But yeah, we actually use this particular team to stay in. We're gonna stay in Tier 21 Arena using just Asker Trio, Alphonse, very meme build. But it unironically worked. The first arena match was a matchup against, it was a mono blue team. It was Legendary Dimitri, Legendary Crom, Saros, and Fallen Male Korin on the map that alternates defense tiles and breakable walls. So absolutely miserable for Alphonse to try and pick up a kill, but I did some daily damage calcs and AI manipulation shenanigans, and I actually got Alphonse to pick up the bonus kill on Fallen Male Corn by actually doubling him, and I set it up by having Alphonse tank a hit from Saros by initiating into her. So it was pretty cool to set up double brazens and stuff, so it was pretty funny. But yeah, that was a pretty miserable match. Would have been a cool thing to have recorded, but we kind of just don't record arena nowadays. But we did have to fish quite a bit though. We used like 60 something crests, I think. So quite a bit because our score range was only 744 to 758. but we only needed 756s to stay. Next week, I probably have to build up Lachesis or something, and give her a water blessing or something. So if we want to stay, because I'm guessing the cutoff is gonna rise. So yeah, but I don't mind, because if for people who are relatively new around here, I kind of use a lot of 4-star healers in arena assaults, and the main theme is they all kind of just have pain and rehabilitate, which is abysmal in 2021. Rehab is still fine, but pain is just terrible. Like Dazzling Staff Pain Plus is way better just because you don't get counterattacked. And of course, Pain Plus also inflicts chip damage to enemies within 2 spaces as well. So yeah. So it would be nice. One of the things I'll do when I get to 999,999 feathers eventually, because I keep burning feathers, is to 5-star the healers and get them and some actual stuff, because it would definitely help out in Arena Assault, having more consistent heals as well, because Rehabilitate is very jank. It's super great when your units are super low on HP, but when your units are around like half HP, it's pretty bad. But anyways, enough rambling, we'll be back when the results drop in. Probably done at this point. It's way past the end of the season, and yep. Nothing too mind-blowing here, it's just next season, it's not gonna end well. I mean, there's some things in this bonus unit rotation that just cannot end well for us. I think we'll probably run double Bramamond and probably Legendary Julia. I don't see why Chrom would do better. I guess, yeah, I don't see why against this bonus rotation why Chrom would do better. We'll just goofball again with Glacies on Legendary Julia and see what happens. I imagine people, even though we won't be in vaults, I imagine people will probably do okay, unless they decide to hit end turn in front of Legendary Julia's face again with insufficient tank power. Then maybe that would cause problems. But yep, pretty standard here. And with that, that's gonna be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. As always, this is Ether Dragon, and hope to see you all next time. Bye.